My name is Rudy Frank, and I am the co-founder, chairman, and CEO of Seabridge Gold. When my colleagues and I formed the company in October of 1999, our goal was to create what we thought would be the best leverage play to a rising gold price. And the business plan we have been following now for the past 2 decades is an attempt to grow our ounces in the ground faster than our shares outstanding. We believe that the more ounces of gold in the ground that we can provide on a per share basis, the better our share price should do in a rising gold market. If you look at Seabridge today relative to the industry, we actually provide 5 to 50 times more gold ownership in the ground, whether you measure it by proven and probable gold reserves or total gold resources, than any other gold company on the planet. And what this has translated into is significant outperformance in the market. Simply put, our share price now has a 22-year track record of showing significant outperformance relative to gold and other gold equities, as the price of gold has gone from $260 an ounce when we started the company to nearly $1,900 today. We've been known for 22 years as the go-to gold company out there, but I think what people forget is that along the way, we also found a lot of copper. In fact, if you look at KSM, which is our flagship project located in northern British Columbia, we now have 5 deposits at KSM that collectively host 76 million ounces of measured and indicated gold resources, plus over 17 billion pounds of copper measured and indicated resources in the ground, and over 33 billion pounds in the inferred category, making KSM not only the largest undeveloped gold project in the world, but also one of the largest undeveloped copper projects in the world today. If you look at KSM gold relative to copper and take into account metallurgical recoveries for each of the metals, we actually can show a project that 50% of the revenues would come from gold, or 50% of the revenues would come from copper. So it's split pretty evenly between gold and copper. From a gold company's perspective that takes copper as a byproduct credit against operating costs, KSM can show negative cash costs of operation as a result of the copper revenues that will offset operating costs. Conversely, for a copper company that takes gold as a byproduct credit against their operating costs, a large copper company can also show negative cash operating costs for every pound of copper produced as a result of the gold credits. That's pretty unique in this space, and KSM, I believe, stands alone in the ability to show tremendous capital efficiency, whether you look at it as a copper company perspective or a gold company perspective. One other interesting fact is if you actually look at Seabridge today, yeah, we found a lot of gold. We have a lot of ounces of gold per common share. But if you look at us in terms of pounds of copper per common share, we actually provide more copper ownership per share than any of the big copper companies out there or any of the gold companies that also report byproduct credits from copper. In fact, our shares today are backed by over 600 pounds of copper per common share, which is well above the industry today. And why is that important? Well, the elephant in the room, quite honestly, is that our industry today, the mining industry, is not producing enough copper to meet demand. The copper market today is in deficits. And going forward, it's only going to get worse. As a result of all the new green energy initiatives that are being put in place around the world, we require a lot more copper. Those electric power vehicles, those wind turbines, those solar panels, or other renewable energy sources that don't rely on fossil fuels consume a lot more copper than those that do rely on fossil fuels. As a result, the deficit in copper will continue to grow. In fact, it is estimated that by the year 2030, the cumulative deficit from today to 2030 will approach 30 million metric tons of copper. And in the year 2030 alone, the deficit is forecasted to exceed 6 million metric tons of copper. As a result, the copper price will continue to go higher. And by the way, those deficits already take into account projects that are slated to come into production over the next period of time, as well as expansions that plan to happen. So if you like gold, which we do, obviously, we've been running a gold company for 22 years, you have to like copper as well. Seabridge has done a great job over the past 22 years in terms of showing significant outperformance relative to gold and other gold equities because of our gold metrics. Pay attention to what happens going forward. I don't think Seabridge is that well known yet in terms of our copper holdings. And if you look at us relative to the other copper companies, if the copper price continues to go higher, like we think it will, Seabridge shares should also become a go-to stock in the copper market. Happy to answer any questions, any follow-up questions you might have. Best way to reach me is shoot me an email at Rudi, R-U-D-I, @seabridgegold.com. And thanks for your time today. Take care.